Tonight, our fall school year kickoff is called Frest Start. Now, most of you all, there was 12 of you stood up and said that you were going into high school. And you guys, my uncle told me high school is a fresh start, new beginning. Every school year is a new beginning. You start fresh, keep the grades up, go to school. Every year is a fresh start. But in our Christian life, a fresh start can happen at any moment. If you go do anything, band practice, cheerleading practice, basketball practice, whatever you do, and you practice for 4 or 5 hours, you're going to be exhausted, right? You're going to be tired. You're probably going to be hungry. Let's take basketball, for example. You're playing basketball for 5 hours. Basketball is exhausting, it's tiring, but it's fun. But after 5 hours, this new team comes into play after you've done played for 5 hours. And they have a fresh start. How much quicker are they going to be? How much more excited are they going to be? And just for us, we have this time in our life where it's been 4, 5 years, and we're exhausted. It's been 5 years since we really experienced something. It's been 4 months since we really experienced Christ. It's been 3 months since we've been to church because of summer vacation, and we're just tired. But I'm here to tell you, tonight can be a fresh start for your school year, yes, but more importantly, it can be a fresh start for your future and for your walk with Christ. We're going to be in Luke chapter 15 tonight. If not the most well-known parable that Jesus taught. Verse 11. And he said, there was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had took a journey into a far country, and there he squandered his property in reckless living. So back in this day, this father, obviously, he's talking about was very rich. He had a lot of animals. He had a lot of land. So the customary thing was him to sit in the house, and he had servants working for him, and his son's probably leading those servants while he sits in the house and just collects the money. He didn't run. He didn't break a sweat. That was just what the custom was there. And he had these 2 sons. And one was like, I'm tired of it. And it relates to us so much because sometimes when the devil comes at us and we get attacked at school or we get attacked at home, our home life's not great. Our friends aren't that great. People don't like us at school and they make fun of us. We get tired of the Christian walk, saying, I'm trying to live my life and nobody cares, nobody likes me, so I'm done. And you give it up for reckless living. See, he asked his father for his portion of the property because he was the youngest son. He only got half of what his older brother got. What that means is he only got 1/3 of the property, 1/3 of the wealth that his dad had. Now, typically you didn't get the inheritance from your father until he passed away. But the father at this point gave it to him. So the son was rebellious. He wanted to go have fun, to lay out all night, to make videos, go live on Instagram, go live on Snapchat or Facebook or whatever you can go live on, and do whatever he wanted. See, there's so many times that you guys will add me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever you guys have, and you'll add me and you won't even remember that I'm on there. And I see everything you post. Every live video you guys have, Instagram for some reason sends me a notification. Every time you go live on Facebook, it pops up on my stream. to see. And students here, you may be laughing now, but are you laughing when I watch the video you posted? Are you laughing when I call you out and say, I seen you having that gun in your video? I seen you holding that bottle of alcohol in your video and you're just 16 years old. But you're in your biography, it says, I love Jesus. We want to tell people that, I wear the bracelet, Jeremiah 29:11. I love Jesus. I went to church Wednesday. Who's going to a party Friday night? Where can we go to have fun and live recklessly and not even worry about Jesus? See, so many of us has experienced Christ and gave the inheritance that he's given us and sold it for reckless living, just like this younger son has. He sold everything for cash. Perfect example. There is $2 billion a year of merchandise stolen from Walmart in the United States. $2 billion a year of merchandise stolen from Walmart. And you know what people do with that stolen merchandise? They don't use it for themselves. They'll go in there and they'll steal something for $200, take it to somebody else, say, if you give me $60, I'll give it to you brand new. And they sold it for less than what it's worth. And just like we do, when we have all this worth that God's given us, and we sell it for something not even worth our time. We're living in this reckless living period to where we have that mentality, I'll always have tomorrow. There will always be tomorrow. I'll change when I'm older. I'm here to have fun. Do you think those two students this summer from Honaker High School thought there would be tomorrow? Absolutely. And neither one of them's walking down the halls this year because of a car wreck. Do you think that was planned? We live this reckless life. Oh, we're young. We're not going to die. We can do whatever we want and we'll be fine. We have tomorrow. Can somebody please show me in here where it says you're promised tomorrow? Because if you can show me a scripture where it says you will live tomorrow, I will close this book, turn the microphone off, and send you on your way. And we'll cancel L3 for the rest of the year. There's not a tomorrow. And this young man, he was preparing for the day. He was wanting to live in the moment, but he wasn't worried about living in eternity. See, he had all his blessings from his dad, all the inheritance that his dad had given him, and he sold it. And I'm not going to say for sure, but I can about guarantee he took the first offer on whatever he was selling. And I can about guarantee that first offer was nowhere near what the value of that property and that inheritance was. And what do we do with it when God gives it to us? We just sell it for drugs. We sell the blessings for alcohol. We sell it for Snapchat videos. We sell it for Instagram live videos. We sell it for other people. We sell it for sex and our pornography addictions. And we sell our inheritance that God given us because we're reckless living. We sell it for almost nothing and something we shouldn't even give our attention to. But we're living in the moment. We're here to have fun. If you call that fun, we need to reevaluate your life. You need to reevaluate your life. So he's living recklessly. Just like us so many times. And when he had spent everything, when you have given everything you have to this reckless living, when everything you have is gone. See, when he says he spent everything, he don't mean he just spent what's in his wallet. Let me show you what he meant. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in the country, and he began to be in need. He spent everything. And then he was starving. See, I don't know about you or where you've been in life, but I know the testimonies of some of these students and some of these leaders here. And when we spend everything we have, it seems like, just like the youngest brother here, he spent everything he had and then the famine hit. And you spent everything. Do you think when the famine hit, that if he had his property, he had his livestock, that would have affected him? Probably not. Do you think if he was still under his dad's household, his dad would let him starve and have nothing and be in need? Absolutely not. But when we start living recklessly and we spend everything we have, we leave the wing in the household of God and out of his protection. And then the world hits. Verse 15. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed the pigs. Has anybody ever fed pigs? Anybody ever had the chance to feed pigs? The pigs that I fed, I don't even want to think about it. I don't know what was in it. I know I didn't want it. I know it didn't smell nice. And you were probably waist deep in mud and pig poop while you're feeding it. Don't walk out of your boots. Fun fact. At the time, and even today, pigs are not that great of a classification of animals, but at the time, pigs were the nastiest animals around. The absolute nastiest thing you could do was feed pigs. That's almost like the worst job you can have is feeding pigs. And he was so desperate that he took the job he thought he deserved. See, when we start living recklessly and we spend everything we have, we leave the protection of God's house, we accept things that we think we deserve, not what God has planned for us. Pigs are absolutely nasty, by the way, if you guys didn't know. It says to feed the pigs, this was the worst sort of degradation imaginable for Jesus' Jewish audience. Swine were the most unclean animals. I think it's cool that's the most unclean animal, because when Jesus cast out the demons, where did they go? Into the pigs. Because the pigs were already unclean. So if Jesus will cast demons into an unclean animal of pigs, and this man was feeding pigs, this would be like, I can't even compare what it would be like to today's age. What is the worst job you can think of? The absolute worst job, the nastiest job, the most degrading job you can think of. And that's what feeding the pigs were at this time. Because he thought that's what he deserved. And see, some of us will start living this reckless life. We'll start branching out out from God's house, selling everything we have, and then we get with the guy we think we deserve. Or we get with the girl we think we deserve, and we can tell that it's an unclean relationship. But it's what you think you deserve. That's what the world tells you deserve. And here's the key. And when he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, no one gave him anything. Okay. Feeding pigs is awful. You might think the little baby pigs or the little miniature pigs are cute, but they're nasty. And this man was so deep into reckless living and has lost everything he had. He couldn't even eat with the pigs, and he wanted to. Couldn't even eat with the pigs. Nobody would help him out at all, would give him nothing. I love the word but in Scripture. B-U-T, but. One of my favorite phrases is but God. But the word but means all this happened and then this happened. All this happened and something flipped. There's a switch that flipped. But this happened. In verse 17, but when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. Let's just stop there. When he came to himself, when you come to the realization that the relationship you're in and the friends you have, the addictions you face, when you come to the realization that that's not what God has planned for your life, the next step just gets even better. This man was starving for something. See, when teenagers come in, they're starving for something. Attention, relationships, a feeling. And then this man realized that when he's starving, he can go to his father's house and be fed. He came to himself and realized, I've just got to go home. And that's exactly what he done. He said in verse 18, I will rise and go to my father. And I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. Here's that word but again. See, he had his plan. I'm going to apologize. Maybe my dad. Hired servant this time meant slave. Technically. They worked forever and got paid very little, or if got paid at all. Might be working off debt. They might be doing something else. I don't know. But hired servants made no money whatsoever. Verse 20, and he arose and went to his father's house. See, when we come to the realization of ourselves, and that we're starving for something, and we realize if we just go home to our Father's house, we can be fed. But I promise you, it says right here, but, here it is, but while he was a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion and ran and embraced him and kissed him. 3 things the rich didn't do at this time. Run, hug, and kiss other people. That's just something they didn't do. But I love it because there's so many customs in the Bible that Jesus didn't follow. He healed on the Sabbath day. You didn't do that. But that soul, that person is more important than the rules and regulations that people have set. So he ran, he embraced, and he kissed his son. And the son said to the father, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Have I told you I love the word but tonight? Verse 22. But the father said to his servant, when we come to God and we realize to ourselves we are starving, we are living recklessly, it's time for us to come home into the Father's house and we start to get something out, he stops us. You know, when we come to God and say, God, I'm not worthy to be called your son anymore, he says, whoa, 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 whoa. It's not your decision what I call you. It's not your decision on what your relation is to me. But we're going to celebrate. But the father said to his servants, bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. And bring us the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. You guys can go ahead and come up. I want you to evaluate your life right now. One of the best images of God I've ever seen in my life. You can run as far away as you want from God. You can run as far away as you think you can from God. But in order to get back, all you have to do is turn around. I'll say that again. You can run away from God as far as you want, live as recklessly as you want, and all you got to do is turn around because he's waiting on you. He's waiting on you. He's waiting to run to you with compassion, arms wide. And he'll put a ring on your hand. See, this is symbolic for marriage and the bride and the groom. When he puts the ring on their hand, it's sacred, it's official. They belong together. So when God put that ring on your finger to seal your life with his. He has the best robe, the fattened calf, and he celebrates his children coming home. So tonight I want you to close your eyes and bow your head. And I want you to evaluate your life. Have you been living this reckless life? This life of where you knew God, but you've ran away. You've left the Father's house. You've took what He's given you, sold it for nothing, and now you're starving and have nowhere to go. Are you ready for a fresh start? Has He put a ring to seal you? And are His people and are His servants celebrating the fact that His children are coming home? Our theme this whole fall is coming home. Are you ready to come home to Christ tonight and let Him celebrate with you? I'm going to ask you a question. 2 questions. 1, are you starving, living reckless? Do you need to come home tonight? Christ is waiting. Secondly, maybe you've already had that Christ experience. Maybe you're living for Christ like never before, and you still want that fresh start going into school. I will tell you right now, these altars are open. They're going to sing the song, "Oh, the blood." The blood of Christ will wash over your life. And your life will be changed. You'll have a fresh start and a seal of approval with Christ.